Well, let me come to you now, Dr. Phillips. At the end of the day, when you're watching the news and maybe people are complaining about stuff, about the economy and all that, they'll say, I want the government to do this. I want the government to do that. And, we keep hearing that, all the time. And definitely government policy, that cannot be underestimated, at this time. So talk to me about, what you're seeing when it comes to the policy direction, right now, and how that can help with, waste management and, this real estate industry.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. First off, just like to thank the organizers for inviting me here, representing Ms. Tari. She couldn't be here, unfortunately. So, to answer your question, government policy on real estate. I don't know if anyone saw the last RERA events that happened probably a few days ago. That's just a clear indication of where the government is going in terms of merging both public and private sectors together to figure out how to solve these issues that we have. I always like to put into context that we are a developing nation, and a lot of people kind of get lost because, Lagos is such a metropolitan city, quite large, one of the biggest cities in Africa, but we are still a developing nation. Just to put it into context, the budget of Lagos State is not even up to that of the NYPD in New York. So you have an economy who's dealing with essentially the police budget of a developed nation. So we have a lot of limited resources which we have to allocate efficiently. And the only way we can do that is by everyone putting their hands together to try to make this place better. I personally was appointed based on my affiliation with blockchain, like you mentioned. And that just shows the forward-thinking nature of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. In terms of, as I mentioned, we're a developing nation, so we need some kind of leverage. And I think technology is that, joker card that we can play. We have the youthful population, we have the demographic, we have the intelligence, we have the numbers. When you apply that with technology and the right policy and right direction, we have the ability to go forward and, to get this place to the promised land like we truly deserve.
Yes, and, definitely mentioning, policy direction and all of that and how that's, helping shape the country. You did say we're a developing nation. And, definitely it's been a long time coming, with what the issues that we have in Nigeria so far. Some say it's because of maybe inaction, on the part of, government that we now find ourselves, where we are. If we are taking some steps much earlier, then there's a possibility that things will be different, right now. But tokenization, that's a very interesting one. I'm a big fan of blockchain technology. Talk to me about how the government is looking at using tokenization, in this industry at this time.
So the federal government has actually instituted a blockchain policy, pretty much a 360 from the previous administration. But there's an aggressive, drive towards this greenfield environment. Tokenization, just to explain it, is based off blockchain. Blockchain is Web3. So right now on the internet, what we're mostly using is Web2. Web3 involves a distributed ledger. So that means everyone has a copy of every transaction that is done. And what that guarantees is accountability, transparency, and it just makes, the whole process a lot more seamless. Now, when you combine that with real estate tokenization, what you have is, instead of buying a property for 100 million naira, it's broken down into tokens or fractions. It can be as little as 100,000, 50,000, depending on how many fractions or tokens you want to break it down to. And when you put that on the Web3, because it's a global platform, you can have someone in Russia, somewhere in America, in Singapore, investing in the projects in Lagos, Nigeria. So that would solve two fronts. It's going to solve two issues. First, we have limited resources, as I said, so we're going to have more funds for these projects. And second of all, it actually also democratizes real estate investment, so people can participate and get the yields of this transparent and accountable platform. So that's why I'm excited about it, and I think it's the future.
Right, and with progress made so far, when do you think we can fully start exploring that technology here?
That's a very tricky question. It's like asking me when the internet would have taken off when it was introduced. There are a lot of examples of US firms that are raising incredible amounts using this technology. I think it's also done in Singapore and some other states. But, like I said, the government has taken the dramatic step of introducing a national blockchain policy. And even SEC has also put in some regulations to try and, get things into place. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. And I believe with the speed and with the participation of people, because people there also has to be a lot of education done into what it's about and how people can access it and how people can use it. I believe in the next year or so, we should have a lot of progress on that field.
I'll definitely be looking out for that, because I can imagine maybe with ownership, of property, gets on the blockchain. I guess maybe Omonile can't come and take my land anymore. I'll say, it's on the blockchain.
Yes, and even to add to that, what is interesting is the secondary aspect of that. Because now, if you're able to buy a property in Ikoyi for 100,000, you have a token of it. You can buy 5 in Ikeja, you can buy 6 in Epe, and then eventually, when you want to raise funds, you can go to the secondary market and then sell 2 of your Ekpe lands, 2 of your Ekpe tokens to get 1 Ikoyi. So it presents a different market, which, of course, as I mentioned, SEC is looking to, and the potentials are quite huge.
Definitely looking forward to that time. Let me come to Dr. Derin Phillips now. So definitely a lot of solutions here from Prof. So if I talk to me about how we can, take actionable steps, from the government side of things.
Yes. So I think a key thing is sensitization and education. I think a lot of people are not aware. I try to use this term loosely, because I think it's a pretty controversial one, but the problem of Nigeria is Nigerians. A lot of people have said that quite a lot. We have to change that narrative, and I think it's via education, sensitization. This work of making Lagos a better place, this work of making Nigeria a better place, it can't be solely placed on the hands of governments. It is all our responsibility. Private sector, public sector, people coming together to look at it as a collective effort. I think that is key. Circling back to the environmental topic, environmental sanitation. It was a policy every Saturday morning from, I think it stopped at 11. It was a private citizen that took the government to court and had it eliminated. That's literally why we don't have environmental sanitation. So the education, sensitization, people just realizing that this is a collective effort. That's part of the reason why I rendered my services to public sector, because I believe everyone has to step forward and, collectively we can do this. Those are my thoughts.
Collectively, we can do this.